In this video I'm going to show you guys how to make a small mining camp consisting of a bunkhouse, a foreman's house and also a smelter. If you're new to the channel at all, we do a lot of time lapses and tutorials just like this one, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, if you're interested in seeing the episode where I actually build this, I'll link it in the card above and also in the description. Anyway, let's get to the tutorial. Alright, so the first thing is the actual rough layout, and if you guys want to have it exactly the same as mine, then this is how it's actually laid out for my side of it. I've got the long building on the side here, and I've got the shorter one, and I've got the smelter here. So in relation to everything, and if you do want to put down a kind of like base, which is what I'm going to be using, it's going to be sections of 3x3. So you'll have one block for the big one, 1, 2, 3, and then you have a block, 1, 2, 3, a block, 1, 2, 3, and a block. So you end up with these 3 different sections of 3 like that. You'd have to place these blocks like this at all. In between the two buildings I've actually got 5 blocks in total, 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. And you'll notice that it's off by 1 block. So with any sort of modular builds, try and do them off kind of angle, so you wouldn't want this pillar to be in line with this one. It'll always look a little bit too perfect. So I've just offset it by 1. For me it was to do with where the actual building looked like it fits more like best. But yeah, just 5 blocks from there. You can then have your pillar, and then from the front you're actually going to have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a block, and then 1, 2, 3, and then a block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a block. So it's really, really simple little structure. For the smelter itself, this one just off of the back wall here, we've got a 2 block gap, and we just got a 2, 2, 2, and 2 kind of circle. So you basically got 2 blocks in the middle, and you're just going around that as kind of like a rough circle. But you can, of course, build these 3 structures totally separate, and that's not a problem at all, and move them around to wherever you want. That's what I would advise doing, but if you guys did want the exact same setup, then that's how you would do it. So we just go over the materials that you're going to need. You're going to need a stripped spruce wood log, spruce wood stairs, spruce planks, a barrel, oak slab, oak stairs, oak planks, and also a spruce fence as well. So those are your kind of base materials. Make sure you grab those into your toolbar, hotbar, whatever you want to call it, and that will give us a good start. So we're actually going to start on the first building. So this is kind of like the long building, the long house. It's not really a long house, but you know, the long building, the bunk house that I've been using for the mining camp. And just on any of these corners, just go up with 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, your pillar. That's using the stripped spruce. Then you can have a 3 block gap and then go up 3. And then we're going to go across the side. So for this, you can see obviously I've laid it out so it makes it a lot easier. So go up by 3 blocks on each of these, and then around again, until what you end up having is these 3 sections in between those pillars, and just on the side it's just 1. Of course you can extend this if you wanted to as well. You know, you don't have to have these 3 sections. You can have 4, 5, however many you want. You can make multiples of these, etc. and so forth. So yeah, it's quite a good, nice little design. For me, because I had this kind of like courtyard area here between this building and also the smelter, I actually put my entrance here. It's up to you guys if you want to do that or not, but just grab a barrel and you're just going to put a barrel either side of that, and the rest of it is just going to be barrels as the main base material. So obviously we're not using them as actual barrels. But if you're in survival, you've now got a load of storage. This is what I quite like about the barrels. They're really, really good for that. I'm actually using it because of the kind of like pattern that it's got on it. So the planks going upwards, and also these kind of bits of metal in between them as well. I quite like that. So switch over to your spruce stairs. I'm going to have a lower stair here, and then an upside down stair going across on this one. So for the doorway, obviously that's the most different one out of all of them. But the rest of them, you're just going to be placing them down. Now, obviously, when you right click with your stairs with a barrel, it's going to end up opening the actual barrel, but you can always hold down shift if you're on the PC version, or do a sneak if you're on one of the console versions or pocket version, etc. and so forth. So I usually just end up doing sneak for all of this. You can of course do fly and sneak as well if you want to at the same time, pressing both down. Your hover, which is always quite good and quite useful. It means you can just whip through these pretty quick. Also guys, if you do get kind of behind on this at all, just pause the video, or you can also use the kind of like time point as well, so the time setting that you've got, which can slow down the video if you ever need that. So what do we do next? We're going to go back to our spruce log, and we're going to just put 1 on either side of here, and then another one in the middle going up. And we're actually going to do this on the inside as well. So this is one of the things I've been trying to do quite a bit with my builds, and it just makes the interior look a little bit more interesting. I'll show you guys a full interior at the end. But yeah, it just means that you can then set up everything else from that, and it looks like it's actually got a frame going all the way across as if it was actually built. Obviously, you'd also have bits going across as well, but we're actually going to do that with a different material. So first things first, we're going to have this bit here. We can then put in a barrel like that, and just make sure it's going up. And obviously, if you place it on the side, it will come out on the side, but we want it up like that. And then for the inside of this, between them, we're going to go to our oak planks, and we're just going to join these. So this is just on the top piece, and that's the top piece only, like that. Then we're going to switch over to our stairs and have upside down stairs on the inside. There we go, like that. And just build this going all the way inside as well, all the way across. So this is just to make the actual roof that we're then going to use. And it makes doing the actual roof a little bit easier. You don't have to then try and place blocks on the side or anything like that. I think for mine, I actually ended up doing a oak plank floor. But again, we'll have a look at the interior that I've got on mine at the end of the video for you guys that are actually interested at all in that. But yeah, if you want to fill it up, fill it all up, and we can have a look. Another thing we can actually do with is a spruce door, which I'm so glad they added these into the game, so great. But just, yeah, throw that in. You've now got your door, and you can see that it's kind of like set inside. Obviously, this doesn't look too good at the minute. So let's get on to the next bit, which is going to be putting on the roof. So where we've got each of these pillars going up, these support frames, the logs, we're going to have oak stairs going up like that. So we're just going to have 2 on here. Ignore the top. I'll just do this on the side as well, on the other side even. So place these down like this. And then in between them, I'm going to have spruce wood stairs, just to give it a little bit of variation. Because otherwise what you end up having is a lot of builds that just kind of like look the same. I wanted to use a lot of spruce with this one. I wanted to make it look simple, but this was kind of a way to make it look just a little bit different, a little bit better. So on the sides here, we're going to have stairs going up. Right here, we're going to have an upside down. So we're just going to have these spruce stairs on the sides there. Same on the other side, so here, here, and upside down. Onto the side like that. And then on the inside here, I actually went in with a normal way stair. Usually you'll do an upside down stair for these bits, but with the style around where I built this, which was clipped off, all of the houses kind of had this kind of style. So I tried to kind of use that and actually put that into even in the mining camp as well. So we'll do the same thing here. Totally up to you guys what you want to do. Again, it really is. So, you know, feel free to change it up. So next what we're going to do is where we've got the oak wood stairs, we're actually going to end up pushing this one out on the top here. So wherever it's got the stairs, we're going to end up doing this. And then on the other bits, we're actually going to go down. So we've got this here. So we get this kind of like wavy pattern. And then just on this edge one here, we're going to have that in there. And the same on this side as well. So up, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, up, 1, 2, 3, up. And on the bottom of that one there, and also here as well. There we go. So you end up with this kind of like wavy pattern. It just gives it, well, it makes it look a lot more interesting, which is always good. So if you want to put a lantern on yours, I ended up just extending this one off here, grabbing a lantern, and then just plonking that onto that piece like that. You could of course also use, you know, a trapdoor. So if you wanted to make it look a little bit flimsier. I should have actually grabbed that lantern as well, but that doesn't matter. So you could put something like that on there, and then grab the lantern again, so just to let it drop. Then actually place that on there. If you wanted to, you could do that as like a different bit of variation. And of course you could put that on whichever ones you want. If you wanted like a lantern over here so you can see the light on that side, totally up to you. The only other thing we got to do is grab our oak wood slabs and just put them on the top. So this is just bringing it all the way across the top. Like that, and that gives us our bunkhouse. Now one thing you'll notice is it's not got any windows, so it's up to you guys if you want to add in some windows. If you're going to do it, you could either have, you know, just your like single bits of fencing, because we've got the stairs, that at least then stops it from looking too fancy. You just get this like single line in there. You could of course also, if you wanted to, put on something like your trapdoors, oak wood trapdoors, and actually knock those up. If you don't like the look of the barrel, just make sure to dig into the ground and place it, dig really into the ground I guess, and then place it upside down. You know, if you wanted to do something like that, it's totally up to you guys, so you can get that upside down. But yeah, I quite like the look of that. I think that looks quite nice and neat, and it just gives you this like what would actually look like windows from the inside as well, and obviously they can then just open them as well, so it's always good. But yeah, for mine, I wanted to keep it really simple and make it seem like it's quite cold there, so they'd always have it closed, and things like that. So yeah, nice and simple. So if we get onto the second building, this one is going to be very, very simple. This is going to be the smaller of the two. For me, this one ended up being basically the kind of like chief, the foreman, the man in charge, man or woman in charge, was actually living in this one, and also where their office was. So if we go up with 3 blocks, then going to have a 5-block gap. So for this one, I went with a barrel. I then had the doorway on this side, then 3 black barrels on there, and then again 1, 2, 3, like that. Now, I'll be honest, I can't remember how many we go up here, but we'll go up for at least 4, probably 5, I think, but we'll go for 4 for now, for where the roof actually ends up meeting and joining up. So just going around the sides, we're just going to put in the barrels again, just using this as a really nice kind of like common pan. I just really like it. It just breaks up spruce wood so nicely. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing as we did before, which is, of course, using our stairs. So if we go for normal stair, upside down stair, and just bring this across, and then normal stairs as well. So the reason I'm doing this is just, it makes it look a little bit more interesting, and it wouldn't have done before just with normal flat blocks. It just adds in that kind of like look towards this. You can also do things where you just have the normal stairs as well going across. If you want to try and make it look like there's like logs going across, I've never been that keen on it. But yeah, you can also do things like that if you wanted to. So for me, on my actual sides, I ended up having just full blocks because I had mine built into a hill. But if you don't have it in next to a hill, you then can use your stairs. But yeah, typically I think that was due to me being lazy more than anything, just because we had that on the sides. So yeah, right. So I've already got rid of my fence, so I'm going to go and grab that back. So a spruce fence that I actually had in my kind of collection. That doesn't really make sense, but you know what I mean. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to have a 1-block gap from this corner here, and we're just going to go up with 2, and then going to have I think it's probably a 2-block gap, and then just have another 2 going up like that. So for this part, this is just going to be like a little cover. So we're going to have some spruce slabs. So let's go and grab those wherever they are. There they are. Need to sort this inventory out really badly. So we'll have the spruce slabs just going across the top here. So we get this kind of like 4. And this is actually where I had some ore, and we'll put that in a second. So first, let's get on to the actual roof of this. So what I did for this, I had on the top of this one, I had a oak wood slab, then oak going down, and then the same here as well. And you can see how this now joins up. And then I had one in the middle as well, so I had 2-block gap and then one in the middle like that. I could have put in oak wood slab on here and this one. It just, for some I don't know, I just didn't think it looked quite right. But again, it's some variation if you wanted to actually put that in. We just put spruce wood on the sides here and spruce wood coming forwards like that, but you can see why I didn't quite like it. I don't know, I just didn't think it really fits as well. So you can just have, spruce going on top of that piece. Or you could have just the oak wood as well going onto here. I'm still undecided, as you can probably tell. So for the edge pieces, we're just going to go with a normal block here. And then we're going to go for a slab. And what I'm doing on this part is just like building up in a block. And then a slab on top like that. And then we're going to have probably just actually this time a slab going over. So because it is going over the top, so we'll have that there. Just like that. And it was, in fact, 5 blocks up. So there we go. Anyone that guessed with 5 for that slope, well done to you. So what we can do now is we can just have some normal planks on top of the sides of this. If you wanted to, you could of course bring this across here as well. Totally up to you. That's the thing with builds. Always, from tutorials, take ideas from it, but go with it. Go a bit wild. So we're gonna have some just spruce slabs in the sides of these on top here, and just going across the pack. Then we've got our oak stripe going all the way up to there. And then these 2 here. Just until they join onto here, and then we'll just go off by 1 on the sides of this. Just onto the side there like that. And same on this side as well. So just building all the way up like that. So we just get this kind of like nice really, really slanted roof. The reason I did this on this one was because for me, it was on a hill, so it made more sense to have this kind of slanted roof. If I'd done a normal kind of like A-shaped roof, it wouldn't have fit, but there's no reason why you couldn't do exactly the same as you've done here. The only thing I would do is if you're going to have these two buildings with the same roof style, is to push this one up by 1 block, and then you'll get like a different roof line, and it'll look a little bit more interesting, which yeah, you should always try and do is just add in a tiny bit of interest to your builds. So again, with the door, grab that, we can throw that in, and I actually don't remember what I did with the roof. We'll have a look at what I did on the interior. I'll point that out for you guys. Also, if you do want to put in some like little bits of mining stuff, obviously choose your ore of choice. For me, mine was an iron mine, so I went with iron. And also grab, you know, something like a Spruce Trapdoor. You can then just throw this in here, put it on the floor, and just, you know, trapdoor it up so it makes it look like there's some iron ore that's all kind of like collected together. You know, you can put one on top of it as well if you want to make it look like a barrel. And things like that. It just adds in a little bit more interest. It makes it look quite interesting. Makes it look good. Also, you know, use this kind of thing. You can obviously shove it onto the sides of anything else. Well, for a load of other reasons, you know, like wood, straw, or anything like that. Also, little bits of detail if you wanted to. You could also put in, you know, fences on the sides. There we go. You cannot think, including on these as well. This is like an added extra. It's not something that I put on mine, but that's because I wanted mine to look really, really simple. And I wanted it to just to feel quite basic. And you can put it in there as well, and it doesn't affect the lantern, which is quite nice. And with these ones, you can only really do it on these here, but actually that just happens to line up perfectly, which is always good. But yeah, might have been that as well. It doesn't quite fit with everything else, but you know, it'll do. And also feel free to put in like a skylight as well if you wanted to. It will do some variations as well later on. So, getting onto the actual smelter itself, what we're going to need is one of the new blocks. You can either just use, you know, your normal furnaces if you wanted to, but for me, I actually used the blast furnace, so I wanted to use these. And it's up to you if you wanted to have them facing outwards or facing inwards, so you just get the outside of it. For me, I ended up doing it this way, but it's totally up to you. Grab a stone brick wall as well. And we are going to grab some stone bricks, so that's why I said that. So stone brick stairs and just some normal stone bricks somewhere. Probably gone past it. There we go, stone bricks. We're also going to need, or we don't really need, but we're also going to have an iron trapdoor. It doesn't have to be iron trapdoor at all. And also a fireplace as well. So campfires. I keep on calling them fireplaces, they're not, obviously. So we're just going to do these blast furnaces around the sides like this. And then we're going to do it in the middle. We're just going to put in all these campfires. So this is just to give it a bit of that smoke, which I really like the effect of that. Put the iron trapdoors on top. Put a stone brick wall on each of these sides like this. And then because of mine being at this angle, now this is up to you. I'll show you the two variations that you can do with it. You can either have something where you end up doing the entrance on just one of the sides like this. So where you just have two upside down stairs, the rest of them are bricks. If you want it similar to mine, where because I had the kind of entrance to it on an angle, I ended up doing the stairs on this side. So it's totally up to you which one you want to go with, or if you want to have multiple, you know, entrances, you can always do that. If you wanted to, I would probably just go with one, but yeah, it's totally up to you. Whatever you think looks best. Tell you what, we'll leave both in. You guys can then decide later on. So just on top of this, just put your stairs on top. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to have stairs, so just make sure you wrap these around so every time you go to each corner, and then that all kind of sort that out, and then you just get the smoke in there. So there's the one that's on an angle, and then we also get the one that's at the back as well. So it's up to you guys, whatever you think works best. Because I went with the angled one, what I ended up doing is putting a stone pressure plate just on top of this, so that it looks like it's going to make sense to put things in and get things out and all that stuff as a smelter. Yeah, but that is pretty much it as far as the build goes. If you did want to put in a skylight, we'll just do that very, very quickly. So if we want to, say, for example, have one here and grab those kind of bits and bobs. If you wanted to, you could try and use fence. I'm actually going to just do it in glass because it just ends up being a lot easier. So you can end up having some glass. Let's move that down to, say, here instead. And you just end up moving this over. Grab stairs for these sides. and you could end up, you know, moving that across there. I'm actually going to move mine all the way back. I don't quite like where that's sitting. If you did want to do something there we go. That might work a lot better. Yeah, that's going to work a lot better. So we're going to have a stair on the side here, stair on the side there. End up bringing this over. And probably also this bit just to make it look a little bit more interesting, like it is pushed out. Put that in there. And then we can have, you know, something like this here. And just the normal middle in like that. If you wanted to do something like that as a nice little skylight. Doesn't, you know, obviously you can't see anything in there, but it'll let in some natural light. And of course, if you wanted to, you can instead put in just a glass pane, but it's up to you if you wanted to have it look really pushed back or not. And you can of course also have it just really simple like that. Totally up to you. Same if you wanted to do it with fence to make it look a little bit like it's more wooden. They don't have glass. They've just got this kind of like fenced up bit here, and the same with if you wanted to do it with trapdoors as well. You know, you can do all of these different little bits of variation and just play around with like different bits of designs and, you know, change them up. Make it kind of like feel like your own. With mine, I ended up doing or putting on a very, very small just outhouse on the side of this one. So if you did want to do that, then it's nice and simple to do, nice and easy to do. If you can find the blocks, that is, which is just to build a small area around it. So because we've got these side bits in here, it's a little bit different, but yeah, you can end up building something like this. There we go. Get that in the end. Whereby you end up having just a very, very small little building like this. Have the door on there. Now you've got a little outhouse. You can obviously put in. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a pot. There we go, flower pot, something like that. And then you've got a nice little toilet on the back of it, so at least it's kind of a little bit private. So if they did need to go in, they can go in there and everything. So that always works quite nicely as well. But yeah, also dot things around. But we'll show you guys that in the next section. But if you guys are finished with the tutorial and you're not interested in having a look at the interior, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. But if you are interested, that's what we're going to warp to next. So for the next bit, what we're going to be doing is just showing you guys what I've done with mine. So for my mining camp, I obviously had a nice little mine entrance nearby. Very, very simple, just a couple of planks. And yeah, that just goes into just like a very, very small tunnel system. Not really much interesting at all. Of course, I've got these nice mountains on my custom map. Because of that, I had this nice raised up area, so I ended up doing a nice cobblestone wall around it. And just kind of like creating this raised up area and making that fit as well. Also, stuff that's been dumped as well. So a lot of obviously rock is going to come out of there. You're going to get a lot of waste, a lot of like cobblestone looking gravelly stuff. I guess can actually do with more gravel in there, but lots of that. So I ended up building this like nice little dump site on the side here. I probably could do with like more around there as well. And then yeah, so I've got a very, very small campfire on the side here, just with a bit of fence gate and little seating area, just so that at night they're kind of like sat here after a hard day's work, and they might be sat outside, just admiring the pig over there, wild boar, something like that. So if we go into this small little cabin, this is the kind of like main cabin for what I was going to be calling the foreman. So just with the roof, I ended up just keeping it exactly the same. Small bed, small desk, and some ale as well. So the idea being that he's in charge of the ale. So if they're working well, he'll probably give them more ale. If not, they won't. So this is where he's been storing it. Same with up there as well. But really, really simple little area there for everything that's going on. Just around the back here, yeah, I've got, you know, iron ore around. And there's just some barrels as well. As I said before with this, the dungy, that's in there. Just, yeah, using some soul sand. You can imagine what that is quite easily. So if we go into the main kind of mining camp area with this, I split it up into 3 rough sections. So the first one was just a nice little bench against the wall with, you know, just where they can sit down, they can eat. So yeah, small sitting area, like a little cup there. They've got the ale because they've been really good at mining so far, so the foreman's given them some ale. We've got, you know, 4 people are actually working here, so the idea being that this is like a bunk house. This is where they'd go and work, just attaching the lanterns to each of those middle frames as well. But yeah, nice little bunks. Separated out the next section here, so this was just directly on the beams, so just across the beams. Putting in some stairs, again, just doing upside downs. This just makes it look a little bit more spacious, even though it's really not. Or you can imagine like some little shelves for the people that are in this bunk. And then just a simple door. So this is where we get into the kitchen area. So kitchen area, super simple. We've got a furnace. We've also got up there a smoker. Obviously you don't need to use that, but you know, just a couple of ideas, some herbs as well, and some water. So really basic kind of cooking. I mean, I cannot imagine these guys being world-class chefs, but you know, apart from that, just a couple of little bits and bobs in terms of pictures going up. But that's what I did for my mining camp. It'd be awesome to see what you guys do with yours and how you've used these kind of like builds and expanded on them. And feel free to tweet them at me or join my Discord and put that in as well. But thank you guys. I'll see you on the next one.